Hi, this is Katie Brings a Book. I hope you brought a book. I've got several. Spring has sprung here in Florida. I am so excited. I love spring. I love the weather in spring here in Florida. The lows are in the 60s, the highs are in the upper 70s to low 80s. That's Fahrenheit, if any of you aren't here in the United States. And I am just really excited. It's just my favorite season with the flowers and the freshness of the year. And I feel like everything is new and everything is possible. And it's got some of my favorite holidays. I'm so excited for this reading month. I just can't wait. I felt like February and March were good months. I read really good books. I didn't have a lot of great books, and I did a lot of very focused prompt reading. So I wanted for April to use my TBR cards a little bit better, and I wanted to hopefully do some more fun reading. Maybe read outside of like read some serious books, but also read some of my more fun books. Read off my shelf. I've got a pile of library books I want to get into, and so I'm excited for to see where April brings me. So let's get started. I do have a couple prompts that I want to hit. The first one is we get new Goodreads challenge books. I do hope to do a video about why I do Goodreads challenges, what I thought and what I think about them, but I do the mini Goodreads challenges each month or over the months, and I'm waiting for April 1st for them to drop the new ones. I also use Storygraph. So I use Storygraph to keep track of my prompts. I use Goodreads and do the Goodreads challenges with a couple of my friends. And I'm waiting for them to drop. I usually do two the first month they drop them. So I'm leaving two prompts open for Goodreads challenges. I'll see how many they drop. I will probably do a short video once they drop later this month about what books I picked for them, what I think about the new ones, and kind of go over that and my thoughts on that later. So just know that I've got two prompt books that are kind of waiting in the wings until I know what those are because I'm filming this at the end of March. Next is my diversity author. I thought about doing some other form of diversity this month, whether it be handicap or different racial diversity, different diversity from a different country, something like that. But then, isn't it always happen to you? It happens to me that like all these holds I've been waiting on for months come in at the same time. Well, this happened, and I have been waiting on this book literally for months. I have gone to Barnes and Noble, I've gone to some indie bookstores several times, and why didn't you? I've almost bought this book, but I'm like, no, I'm going to come into the library, and then there's been a couple other books that I wanted to buy, so I've held off, and it finally came in. It's going to be my first book of April because I'm still trying to like finishing up a book and got one more book left in March to finish. But this is going to be my first book of April because I'm excited and it's on hold for somebody else. Um, Keeper of Lost Children. It's historical fiction post World War II, which I'm so excited that the historical fiction community and publishers have figured out that there is life after World War II, and we are seeing more and more books come out about post World War II United States and Europe and Asia. I would love to see more Africa, but I'm so excited about this book. It talks about Ethel Gathers is a wife of an American officer. She lives in occupied Germany in the 1950s, which we don't see many books about. And she rescues mixed race children of German women and Black American GIs. And I think that this is a book that calls attention to a lot of different things that need to be called attention to that have not been talked about a lot. And I love when historical fiction can do that. And it also has talked about Ozzie Phillips, who volunteers for a recently desegregated army in 1948. Y'all, the army was not desegregated until very modern history. And I love that we're bringing the attention to that. He meets a local woman, Jelka, and the two embark on a relationship. And then we skip to 1965 Maryland, um, and we have Sophia Clark. So she has an opportunity to attend an all-white boarding school and escape her heartless parents. She discovers a secret that upends her world and sends her on a quest to unravel her own identity. So we have all of these great moments that need focus, and I've heard really good reviews about this book. Somebody else in my book club is currently reading this book and has said it's very good. So this will be my definitely will be my first book of April. I'm so excited. Okay, so next we have my Chantel Reads All Day Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. And I have to admit, I didn't have anything on my bookshelf for my Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. This one I thought would be like one of the easiest, and it is one of the hardest. And I thought that March would be one of the hardest, and it was one of the easiest. So April is read a book with a conjunction in the title, and um, I thought that was there's lots of conjunctions in titles. There is not lots of conjunctions in titles. Lots of titles. There's not just nobody uses conjunctions in titles. So I have I have three options, and I'm going to make a decision based on my month, which I pick. I am leaning towards this one because it's very unique and not a book I would. I had it on my TBR. The other two I did not have on my TBR. I just happened upon them, which is why I'm leaning towards this because you're supposed to read like off your bookshelf. It was on my online TBR, but it it I'm not 100% set on it. It's The Weaver and the Witch Queen, and by Genevieve Gornichek, and it is set in 10th century Norway, and it features Viking Age history and mythology, which is not something that I typically gravitate towards. It's something my husband will typically gravitate towards. And I'm actually interested in trying to expand my mythology background beyond Greco Roman. And that's been something I've thought about doing this year. And so why I'm tending to think about it, why I added it to my app. And so that's kind of where I'm heading towards. And it's got a little bit of like sisterhood and magic, and it's also got some history. And so that's why I'm very likely going to make this that. But I have two other options. They're both nonfiction, and excuse me, just things. They're both nonfiction, and sometimes I just get a little nonfiction itch. I tend to shake it up with some nonfiction, and they're vastly different nonfiction. Um, so, The Secret Lives of Booksellers and Librarians, I have been having the last few months. I have been having a moment for bookish books, books about books, and they haven't steered me wrong yet. Every book about books I've been doing has been like chef's kiss amazing. It has been the 5-star of the month. So, Secret Lives of Booksellers and Libraries by James Patterson and Matt Eversman is another option. Even if I don't pick this for that, I might still try to read it. I'm not sure. It looks like an easy read. Okay, my final book in my list is Those Empty Eyes by Charlie Donnelly. My mother-in-law gave this to me after she read it. She highly suggested it, so this can be my last book of April so that I can talk with her about it. I told her I read it pretty quickly. She got it for Christmas, so now I'm going to read it. Anyway, I have a great stack of books. I am very excited about this. I think that's 11 books. I usually read about 15, so 4 or 5 books, and we'll see if all of these go or if I DNF any. You know, I think it's a good amount. I'm really, really excited about this month. Okay, and with that, this is Katie saying always bring a book. The other nonfiction I want to do is Starvation Heights, and this was available at my library. They lost it, and it's available again. It is true crime. It's historical true crime. One of my favorite true crime stories. So this is a reread, but it's like a reread from 5 or 6 years ago at this point. And so I will probably fly through these two books, but I'm really excited to read them. Those are all my prompts. Again, I'd have those two Goodreads, but now we're going to get to my cards. And I'm excited. Okay, so we have the purple cards, which I've been shuffling in order to pick the TBR cards. And my son says that I make this way too complicated, but I tell him it's fun, and he doesn't do that kind of complication fun. It's okay. My daughter and I really enjoy it. Okay, let's see what we do here. We are going to pull 3 books out of your TBR deck and pick one. Okay, so this kind of one is where we pull the actual just the books out, not the prompts. And then I have to scratch those off. So here's 1, here's 2, So we know those will be off the shelf, not library cards. Historical fiction, mystery, thriller, or fantasy. Ooh, I'm gonna go with a fantasy. I haven't had one in months. Okay, this is one that I've wanted to do, and I wanted to read it because some other teachers were talking to me about it. Six of Crows. So I'm excited. So we've got Six of Crows. Okay, so I'm going to add this to my pile. Okay, my card is ready. Next one. So I'm going to be picking 4 books total because I want some extra wiggle room to just go with vibes too. Um, Either that or later on this month, pick some more TBR cards. So that's one. Draw until you hit a prompt that works for a book on your library TBR, which is perfect because I have a bunch of library books right now. Okay, let's see here. Draw until I get one that works for a library. Stars on the cover. Let's see if I think I have some with stars on the cover. Do I have any my library cards with stars on covers? I have none that have stars on the cover. Nope, that doesn't work. I'm glad it says draw until. Well, book talk or bookstagram definitely applies, and I wanted to read this one since I read the Simone St. James previously. So I'm going to do The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I know it's a little bit older, so we're going to say this was on Bookstagram a few years ago, but I'm still going to count it. So The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. So 2 more. Okay, pick the 5th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. 1-word title. A perfect one from the library. Postmortem. This is a series, a TV series that just came out, so I wanted to read the book before I watched the series. The series has been pretty widely suggested, and it's not a very long book. Let's see. Draw from the bottom. Okay, so this one I've got to take a second because my daughter gets to come pick a book for me. Pick one your children recommend. So my daughter chose this one, Skylark by Paula McLean, and I'm so excited she did because I was really hoping to read this one in the next couple months. It came out, and I haven't gotten to read it because it came out, and I was doing Black History Month, and then I was doing Women's History Month, and I didn't feel like it quite fit into those prompts, and then it just wasn't coming up. And it's set into a dual timeline in Paris around 1664 and 1939. In 1664, it has to do with a girl who is put into an asylum unfairly, which I have several books about that because that very much interests me in regards to women and mental health. And then and so then it talks a lot about friendship and freedom. And then also in the 1939, Christoph Larsen is a young Dutch doctor. He begins a psychiatric residency in Paris in 1939, and befriends a Jewish family who have recently fled Poland, which is right when Poland has been invaded by the Nazis. And when the Nazis descend on the city, Christoph's loyalty, it says, and skills are tested in ways he never imagined. So this has got rave reviews. I'm very excited. The historical fiction this month is it's just top notch. Let's see what our last book is. Okay. Shuffle and pick the 6th card. I'm going to shuffle this. Shuffle the cards a little bit. These cards are so hard to shuffle. They're they're not normal thickness. They're like extra thick and they shuffle weird. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Published in 2023 or a standalone for my classroom. I don't really want to have to go to my classroom for this. So I'm going to find a book published in 2023. I'll be right back. Okay, my final book in my list is Those Empty Eyes by Charlie Donnelly. My mother-in-law gave this to me after she read it. She highly suggested it. So this can be my last book of April so that I can talk with her about it. 'Cause I told her I read it pretty quickly. She got it for Christmas, so now I'm going to read it. Anyway, I have a great stack of books. I am very excited about this. I think that's 11 books. I usually read about 15, so 4 or 5 books, and we'll see if all of these go or if I DNF any. You know, I think it's a good amount. I'm really, really excited about this month. Okay, and with that, this is Katie saying always bring a book.